And as the room fill up, be sure to hit the like, share this content, let that friend or that neighbor know where to go when it's time to tune in to Cowboys sports talk and beyond. It's including the ice ball. Come on, Oxnard law still in effect. Come on, baby. As they say, stand tall or not at all. Come on, Cowboys training camp. Who needs to shine? Game versus the Rams. Give me a 1 in the chat if the audio is straight. Let's get it. Yeah. Come on with it. Okay. 657 7391 is the hotline. My prospects. Let's get it. Come on with it. Mama said there'll be days just like this. Come on with it. All right. Straight. Let me know. Come on with it. Yup. Okay. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. If this is your first time ever, my name is Law Nation. We talk Cowboys football and beyond. Can't wait for the first game. The first game will let us know who's really in charge of everything, right? Because now you can really tackle. Now you can really take people down to the ground. Now you can really see if that is real separation that these guys are able to get. You will be able to identify, hey, who can stand tall in bigger moments, who got the stomach for it, knows what we're looking for. Now, tomorrow will be a scrimmage between the Cowboys and the Rams, and we all know how that goes. Cowboy Nation. The first time we had them in the building, we got into a fight and everything, but it's all good. Shout out to you, Rev. Thank you for your support. It goes with this. I appreciate you so much. As the room continue to fill up, man, be sure to hit the like, share this content. Cowboy Nation, I know that you guys got a lot of questions for me, but before we get to those things, keep in mind the hotline for your mind is 657-390-7391. That's the hotline for your mind. Cowboy Nation, just go ahead and grab your seats because I know you guys got a lot on your hearts. The initial thing would be the Cowboys when we presented this particular footage from practice the other day. The initial thing, as you guys can see, the defense bring in a lot of different variations, ladies and gentlemen. Let me say this again. The defense bring in a lot of variations. And Jay Lewis having a hell of a camp. We see that. We should identify that. I think that he's fitting right in with what the system is bringing far as what Zim likes to do with the different multiple fronts. A lot of people been asking me, what do Parsons look like? Dak was able to get him to draw offsides on that. But a lot of people saying, is he an edge rusher? Where is he at on this particular list? I can tell y'all that he's been utilized as a chess piece. He's not necessarily only on one side of the field. They move him to the left. They move him to the right. He even blitzed through A gap, and he brings the pressure. This is Trey throwing the ball. For those who want to take a look at Trey Lance been improving. Trey Lance been improving. Let me say this again. Trey Lance been improving. That doesn't mean that he can walk on water, but it does show that, hey, in this particular system, once he get his legs going, he could be a person that we can take a real good look at, especially week 1 of the preseason. I think that they give Cooper Rush maybe 2 series, and then the rest will be for Trey. I think that they're going to look into this. They're going to break that down, and they're going to see what he can do in a game per se. But overall, collectively speaking, the Dallas Cowboys, I do. This was a series that Trey was able to score a touchdown on through this particular series here, and we're just going to show you that. And, of course, they call holding on that one. But you look at Trey, he's in a shotgun, running back to the left hip of him. He drops back and he throws a slant. The ball come out pretty good. And I think that he got accustomed to throwing the slants a little bit better through the course of the times we've been here. I think that in a pinch, he is a guy that's going to go through a one read thing, and that could be a bad thing or a good thing, depending on how you look at it from a developmental situation. But I would still tell you that it can be still serviceable. We've seen a quarterback go all the way to the Super Bowl with one read, and his name Jalen Hurts, by the way. And I'm not saying that Trey is Hurts, but you can put things around him to make it comfortable so that he can do that. But when you look at everything else, you can also say to yourself, ladies and gentlemen, that he got an uphill battle because in these particular moments, he doesn't look as good as Cooper Rush. So that's still a tall task. But the Cowboys developed this, and they got this going in this particular way. So if you look at it, football is out, another slant. He's able to get that thing down the field. And we will see tomorrow, because tomorrow practice, those DBs, those linebackers, they won't be as nice, right? They're going to fight through that. They're going to make sure they pop them a little bit, even though it's not taken to the ground. And it's going to get a little chippy, And this Trey, when he feels the pressure, he just run it away. They credit the defense for a sack there. Ladies and gentlemen, it's one of the balls right here, touchdown. He's able to get it out and on a good pass right there. So that's Trigger Trey in the chat, baby. So with that being said, the Cowboys also brought in more reinforcement. They brought in a bigger boy down inside. They brought in also linebackers. What was some of our weaknesses last season? Oh, Law, it was linebackers. Okay. Well, the Cowboys did just that. They brought in some linebackers. They brought in those guys to help. Damone Clark and Eric Kendricks wasted no time. This is according to Pat No C Walker, of getting Nick and Darius up to speed on Zim's defense. And both of these guys were signed yesterday, but you can look at the footages right here. 52 is Nick, and 46 is Darius there. And you can see that these guys, look, there can only be 53. Let me say this again. There can only be 53 guys out here. And when we look at the total depth charts of everything, we can clearly say to ourselves on the offensive side, the Cowboys, man, they're going to have to do some strong cuts. Real talk. And let me go, and let me just start off with the offense since it's up top, okay? They do got CeeDee Lamb up one, right? They got Jalen Brooks as the quote-unquote third wide receiver, or fourth wide receiver, I meant to say. So your starting wide receivers for right now, of course, CeeDee is still not paid, but you have CeeDee, Jalen Tolbert, Brandon Cooks, and then you will have your boy Jalen Brooks, Jalen Cropper, and then you got Billy. And then you will have from there Cam Johnson, Racey McMath, and Dante Burnett. Dante, he's like a poor man's Kevontae Turpin at this time. I would tell you guys that Turpin is a guy that we can all sit back and say, all right, cool. He's going to make this team. You can pencil him in. He's number 9 on there if you don't know. Shout out to you, Sanjay. He says, will Tyrus Wheat make the 53 because Sam is out? I think 91 will make the team if he does his thing in these preseason games. I think that's what we're waiting for him or from him, by the way. I would tell you, when I'm looking at the starting left tackle, Chuma Edoga, I got to get him up out the paint, y'all. We all got to figure out a way. He ain't been looking as what we really want to see. And there's no hate upon Chuma Edoga. These are just facts, right? Trey competing. This is from Quan. Appreciate you. Trey is competing for the number 2 spot. Dak is a seasonal vet and top 10 QB. Dak's supposed to be better. Trey has been injured since he got in the league. Now he has a chance to grow as a quarterback. Yeah, and I agree, Quan. My only thing is, and that's a great observation, the only problem is that all 3 quarterbacks need contracts for the foreseeable future. And new quarterback money is not cheap money. Let me repeat, new quarterback money is not cheap money. Right? So you got Cooper. We pay the highest money side of any team in the National Football League in the quarterback room. We do. Cooper Rush is getting $2.5, close to $3 million. Trey is getting $5.5 million. And then, of course, what counts against the cap, I'm just talking about cap numbers. Believe it or not, Dak is counting, I believe, $55 million against the cap. I did this analysis that the craziest thing of it all is that between Trey Lance, write this down, y'all, and I'm going off the top of my memory here. Between Trey Lance and Jalen Hurts, far as what we count against the cap, the Eagles only paying 5% more against the cap than we are paying against Trey Lance contract. Meaning that the Eagles gave their quarterback $250 million and it's only 5% more, 5 to 6% more than what Trey Lance count against the cap. And you guys can fact check that. That's crazy. So that means that we don't have a quarterback problem. We have an accounting problem, So that's an issue there, So I think that the Cowboys need to figure out how to get ahead of this and figure out ways to get these guys paid early, right? That's the name of the game, because at the end of the day, they paying their quarterback $250 million. Excuse me, they're paying their wide receiver as well, $32 million. If you add both wide receivers, which collectively is crazy number, I think they're paying Smitty $25 million. So we're not paying our guys that amount of money in the wide receiver room. And we going back and forth on whether or not CD should get $34, $35 million, which is crazy. But neither here nor there, not to give the Eagles any shine for your mind. Prize Picks, you can be in the mix at Gabi's in Paris, man. All you have to do is download Prize Picks, use promo code LAW, and they will match up to $100 on your first deposit. Download Prize Picks. They are one of the sponsors of this particular episode today. Let me talk about what else my guys bring to the table. Bear with me as we pull this up right here. Give me 1 second, because there was some conversational lines of what Brandon Laurie said about Nick when he was with, this is a report from Brandon Laurie. Of course, he's talking to Paul Gunter in this video. He's not talking to, but he reported on it. Let me make sure that we give everybody a proper. Give me 1 second.
You guys added him to the roster, a linebacker who you probably took part in drafting as a third-round pick a few years ago in Cincinnati. So what does Nick kind of bring to this Vikings defense, and why did you want to bring him here to Minnesota?
I just think Nick's a guy, we obviously drafted him in Cincinnati. He started early on in his career there. He can play all 3 of the linebacker positions. He's very smart. He wore the green dot for us at times in Cincinnati, so it's a guy that can communicate really good. He understands what we're doing, so it's obviously with the lack of an off season or the shortness of an off season, he's going to know what we're doing pretty quick. So he's a guy that kind of got mixed up a little bit, maybe with a coaching change in Cincinnati. Went to San Diego for a year, or for LA with the Chargers for a year, and he became free. And he's a guy that I always liked. You can rely on him. He's a very good player. He's versatile. He can play on special teams. So it's a valuable guy to have in the program.
So you were saying valuable, and this was his talk track when he was on the Vikings, right? So here's the other thing. This would be the same talk track for now, because now you got a guy that already knows what they're trying to do. And keep in mind, Paul Gunter is the run game coordinator. And I think that you bring in a guy that, whereas all of these guys on one-year contracts, they don't have foreseeable contracts for the future. So there's no time to be playing around with, can this guy learn this? Can this guy learn that? So now is the time to say, okay, all right, let me make sure that I got somebody that I can feed in that I know for sure that knows this system, knows this philosophy, right? But before we go a little bit further into this, I got the 979. You're live on the Nation, brought to you by Prize Picks. You're in the mix. Talk to me. Hey, 979.
Hey.
Yeah, well, that didn't work. The hotline for your mind is 657-390-7391. That's the hotline. Just be prepared and make it quick, too, ladies and gentlemen, when you call in. We are here in the beautiful city of Oxnard, and we don't have a lot of time. So give me about one or two questions, and we'll try to get to you guys on that, okay? But before I go into the next topic here, I just want to say that when we look at Micah Parsons, I truly think that he can be Defensive Player of the Year. I truly think that he can be Defensive Player of the Year. He is a guy that you can rely on different packages. He's a guy that I know for sure when you look at the tape from what he's able to do, he creates the pressure. They're moving him around like chess pieces. It's not a situation whereas we're going to watch this series right here. I believe it's on this one. You're going to see Parsons lined up everywhere. Sometimes he'd be on the left side. Sometimes he'd be on the right side. Sometimes he would shoot through a gap. Sometimes he'd be the Mike linebacker in certain instances. So you're looking at a guy that can be everywhere on the field. So it's make it harder for the opposing team to say, okay, well, we're going to chip him. We're going to double team him. We're going to pay attention to only 11. No, because they move him around in a such, whereas you have to play the entire field. Look at Parsons right here. He's able to basically force Dak Prescott to throw a ball out of bounds right here. And that's what Parsons is able to do. And then you have 94 who win in his individual battles. 58, I truly believe when you look at the tape, 58 has even improved in so many ways. And watch Parsons, he's able to, that's a sack right there again. That's two sacks right there from what we are able to see. And this Parsons right here, he get gobbled up right there, and it's a touchdown. But I would tell you, all for one drive to get two sacks, that's everything. So they move him around. He's not sitting on one side of the field, and he got unbelievable burst and acceleration. I think that what Zim is going to do for him, he's going to make sure that he's in the right spot, and you just can't just chip and just double team him all day. All right, the next caller I have from the 214, Darius. You're live on the Nation, brought to you by Prize Picks. You in the mix. Talk to me.
Oh, what's good, big dog?
Not much, man. What you got?
So first, how's my audio? Number one.
Oh, your audio sounds great. Hey, the people in the chat, give me a 1 if Darius is okay, if you guys can hear him okay.
Okay, that's good. How does the
want from me?
Would you say now?
How does the offense look? Because I know how you said the defense look, but how does the offense look?
Well, The offense, to me, they are done with the installs. I think that they getting the personnel together. The run game is something that it's all wait and see because really you can't take a running back down. You don't know whether or not a running back can really fight through an arm tackle. You can get some semblance when you get down to the goal line. I see they got good packages there. But I just don't know. I'm seeing a little spring in Zeke. I'm seeing a little wiggle in Malik Davis. So I'm thinking that the run game should be better because I can see the get off on the ball with the offensive line, but it's only a sample size. But far as the wide receivers, I think that Jalen Cropper, he's improved. He got my eye. T. Billy, he got my eye. Jalen Tolbert, he's standing up doing good things. And Kevontae Turpin. So, yeah, it's just a wait and see, man, until I really see these guys against different people.
Exactly. And then, too, what is your expectations for the offense as currently constructed? What do you expect to see? Based off of what you've already seen.
I expect that this offense will be, from what I can see, when CD get back, I think that this offense will still be top 1 through 5 in scoring. I think that this offense will be in total yards ranked 1 through 4. I think that this offense will still be able to move the ball down the field. I just want us to do one other thing, and that's what I'm waiting to see. And what I'm waiting to see is for this offense to give us maybe, just maybe, when we need 3 yards, can I get 4, right, on the ground? If I need 2 yards, can I get 3 or 4 on the ground? That's the only thing that I'm waiting to see, and I don't have the ability to see that right now in practice. So that's why I'm waiting for this first preseason game to see whether or not these guys can just be that team that can give us 1 or 2 yards.
Right. That's a good assessment as well.
I appreciate that.
Don't it feel good to have football back, man?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, it feel good, man. It feel good,
You ready to come back to the crib, man? Well, what's happening? Like,
hey, all I can say is, man, I feel like everywhere I go is home at times. So,
okay.
So okay. the earth where I'm at is home to me, man. And I appreciate you for calling in, though.
Yes, indeed. My last question is,
go ahead. What you got?
Where did you get that steak from? Where did you get that steak from? That steak look good as hell.
Oh, that steak, Yard House, man. It was Yard House steak, man. Brought to you by Stephen Carroll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the bet, man. I
no doubt.
You.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for calling in. That's Darius from the 214. So, what are we going to do here is, let me say this once again. And it's not blindly optimistic, because I know a lot of people think that I'm only optimistic. I give objective analysis. I think that I'm one of the best in the game to give you guys objectivity when it's going down to saying that, hey, Jalen Cropper, he looks good, but that's only looking good against our boys, right? When I say I need to see Jalen Cropper go up against other bodies so I can confirm it, then that's me giving you some objectivity. Even with the run game, I can be pessimistic and say, well, Zeke is going to be trash based upon his previous episodes, but that would be a disjust, and that's not even what you guys came here for. I think that objectivity would be, hey, Zeke is slim, right? And he giving us a little burst. I'm seeing some acceleration. I think that Zeke, is he the still same back that he was in 2016? No. But a optimistic person would say, yeah, he's the same person, since 2016. And that's not how I particularly operate, And just because we talk about Kool-Aid and stuff like that, there's nothing wrong with Kool-Aid as long as it's measured, right? And on top of that, we got to have grace and mercy for this team until we see them. Our number one problem is not during the preseason. Our number one problem is not during the regular season. Our problem when it gets to the postseason, right? So those are three different levels to this particular conversation. If we have reservations on the regular season, where would that come from? Because the Cowboys in the last 3 seasons have been 12-5, not 5-12. So we know for sure that this is a playoff kind of caliber team. So what we need to do, ladies and gentlemen, is figure out what we can do to have solutions in the postseason. I gave you guys my solution. The quarterback for this particular team is undefeated when the running back gives you 3 yards or more in the postseason. So there, I would tell you guys, let's figure out if we can go through some of these games and we're seeing with our natural eyes that the running back is able to pound the ball and give us 3 yards collectively, then I can tell you that we'll be a good postseason team. But outside of that, it is what it is. All right, so with that being said, I got Coach Marr from the 803. You're live on the Nation, brought to you by Prize Picks. You in the mix. Talk to us.
What's going on, Law? How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing well. I can't complain, Coach. Talk to me.
Yeah, let me, and you I love you, the voice of Cowboy Reason, and I wanna say something, and I want our Cowboy fans to realize this. The postseason is not. That's what last year, and that's been previous year.
Correct.
This game is a very humbling game. This game will humble you if you try to rest on your laurels or you take it for granted, thinking that it's easy to be 12-5.
Facts.
It will humble you if you're thinking about playoffs before the season even starts.
Exactly.
It will humble you if you say, well, it's a guarantee that we're going to make the playoffs. It will humble you in a game if you go in a game and say, well, we having parties for the after party, the victory party. This game will humble you with injuries, with adversity, with all that. What the Cowboys need to be focused on, and what we need to be focused on, how well we going to play game 1.
There you go. One game at a time.
Game 2, and then we go to game 3, and then we go to game 4, and then we let the cards. When we get to the point of getting close to the playoffs, we remember what we did last year and the previous years, and but to focus of saying, it's a guarantee for 12 wins. What has happened in the last couple of years? 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we said the offense will, but they had Mari Cooper and all that, and the defense had all rookies coming in. We said, man, the offense is going to be great, and the defense is going to struggle. Well, when it got to the end of the season, the defense was playing better, the offense was struggling. Then last year, we came into the camp and we said, oh, man, the defense is going to be probably a doomsday 2 defense, and the offense with the new coordinator, this Texas coach, we'll try to get that going and get it started and going. Well, the offense, at the end, the offense was okay, and the defense fell apart because we took things for granted because of what the season was prior to.
There you go.
Starting from zero.
Starting all the way from zero.
And the offense is starting from zero. What Dak Prescott did last year is last year. What CeeDee Lamb did is last year. If we get in the mindset of what you have done and not what you're currently doing, that can put in apathy, and that can be resting on your laurels, and this game will humble you in a second. It don't take number 1 snap for a guy to humble you and make you find out that you're not as good as you think you are.
Exactly.
So it's about putting in work. Just like I said, you didn't take for granted to say, well, I don't need to come down to Oxnard.
Right.
You go down every year. You put in the work every year to be prepared and to put out videos and get better. Every year you try to get something nuanced to your thing to get every year. You don't rest on what happened last year.
New season.
We don't want this team to rest on last year. And I say this last thing. The only thing that's going to be, it's not going to be talent. It's not going to be X's and O's. It's going to get us to what name. It's going to be what's between the ears.
There you go.
What between the ears? What is our mentality? Are we going to get? Are we going to be a mentality team like we did last year? As soon as we win 3 or 4 games, we get upset because we walking in thinking we better than everybody else, or we not. We looking over things. Have we grown up in that way to say, hey, let's respect the game. Let's earn the right to be contenders. And
there you go.
Do that. We got enough talent to do that. But it's going to be about what's between the ears. The Joneses have put us in a bad situation between the ears because they have not done the things that secured to keep the mojo going. So now when you get all these 1-year stuff, it's going to be, as soon as we have some adversities, which every team has adversity.
They do.
Francisco last year, they lost 3 games in a row. They had injuries. Kansas City went 5 games last year and then scored a touchdown in the second half. They had adversity. Every team has adversity.
There you go.
Is our team set with all these free agents and all these people on 1-year contracts? When we get that rocket, when the water starts hitting us, are we going to have people bailing out? That's what I'm concerned about. I'm not concerned about talent. I'm concerned about
mindset.
We're going to be strung up between the ears to stay the course in a rocky situation where nobody has no security.
Nobody, because this the ideal that they have, and I don't know. That's the area of the unknown of how these guys going to answer and respond. And this could be this could work. I don't know, but it could work. It can work against you.
That's what we need. So that's why it's got to be one big game at a time. Because when you don't have no security, you have to really lock in on one step at a time. These guys can't think about what we're going to do in the postseason and forget about what they need to do in the regular season, because we can see it very easily in this game, the NFL game. You could slip and knock those 1 or 2 games because you're looking down the road or you got an injury here or something. You don't play well. And you could be finding yourself battling to get into the playoffs.
And Coach, this is one thing that I can say, too, is that the 2 departments that I seen improve was the linebacker room and the defensive tackle from the coaching aspect. What were the moves that they pick up yesterday? They picked up a linebackers and defensive tackles. So now I know for sure that those other linebackers, they sweat and they released the guy and brought in 2 other guys. So now the competition is going to be even higher in the linebacker room. There's no weak spots
going on. Linebacker room now.
Talk to me.
Say what helps with increasing linebacker play and going to increase the linebacker room even more on a lot of teams. This kickoff rule. Because you got to have guys that can tackle in space, and you got to be able to be. Because if you don't, people are going to get touchdowns on you.
Yeah.
You got to be. It's a very dangerous thing if you don't have athletic, physical guys that can tackle in space, because it's going to be conducive for the returns to get big yards and touchdowns if you got guys out there that's not really good tackles. So it's going to add some jobs for a lot of guys. As well as I'll say about this, they're at this Zimmer. I said this one time before to you, Long. This defense is based off, Zimmer's defense is based off to make linebackers stars. It's not based off to make defensive linemen stars. It's made to make linebacker stars. Defensive linemen are told, just like he said, he's telling defensive linemen to play through the block. When he says play through the block, we're not talking about 2-gapping, but when he says play through the block, he said you're playing through the block to force it to the linebacker. The linebacker needs to be there to make the plays because everything's going to be funneled to him. So it's made for linebackers to be stars. And Micah Parsons is going to be a person that's going to be back and forth. And he's going to find out when he gets down later on this season, he's going to find out, and I would grant this, and I know this is going to happen. He's going to see this, and then he ain't going to want to play defense end no more.
Right.
I would say he's going to find out he can make so many plays at linebacker that making tackles behind the loss, tackling guys on screen passes in the loss, getting fumbles, ripping the ball out, being able to tackle guys and strip the ball, being able to recover fumbles, even maybe get some interceptions, and then be able to rush the passer from a linebacker position where you don't have to deal with a big guy, because the only thing you got to deal with a guy is on the run. And then if they say they switch their blocking assignments and you get blocked by a running back, that's like eating breakfast. Or sometimes a tight end get matched up with you. So he's gonna figure out after a while, he's gonna like, man, I don't need to put my hand in the ground. Let me go from where I'm at, where I can be in all the action and I can be able to move around and do whatever I want. And then what his agent needs to understand is this. You're not going to get paid as a defensive end. You're not going to get paid as a linebacker. You're going to get paid as the ultimate playmaker on defense. Man. And that doesn't have no cap.
No doubt, man. That's an excellent point by Coach Marv. Y'all put your hands together, man. Good call from you, Coach. Thank you for calling in.
All right, brother.
Yes,
Thank you,
indeed.
brother.
Thank you. That's Coach Marr from the 803, ladies and gentlemen. Parsons, like I say, he DPOY, man. He DPOY because of the fact he's unstoppable. And I get it. We talk about the 4 playoff games that he's been in and only 1 sack. I can bet you this, and I know we're not counting the eggs before they hatch because we got to go through preseason, regular season, and we got to trim down this roster too to 53. And then we got to figure out who's going to be our 16 practice squad members, right? Practice squad candidates. So who really need to shine are some of the ancillary pieces on his team to make it all work. But I'm going to tell you that moving him around like chess pieces is a real thing. And can't nobody really guard him one-on-one because he's just that dude. The next person we got waiting in the queue is Jimmy the Greek. You're live from the 781. Talk to us. Jimmy, talk to us.
What's up, my man Law?
Not much, man. Just grinding. You know how it goes.
Out here in the New England area, my man. But I just wanted to touch base. First of all, I want to say that video the other day of you guys out to dinner was hilarious.
Yeah. We need to do more of those.
I love it, man. I was cracking up. The only thing is you got to have your meat medium, not medium well, man.
Man, I can't do all of that. You know, we got to make sure that all the bacteria and stuff up out of there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But listen, I want to touch base. I'm very excited about this team in some aspects. I think the linebacking core is going to be excellent. I think the secondary is going to be excellent. I think certain parts of the defensive line is going to be really good. The only thing that worries me is that nose tackle in the middle.
Right.
And, of course, the center in the middle of the offensive line. So the 2 middle parts of the lines is what worries me. How they're going to produce. We gotta be able to stop the run and be able to run. And if we don't do either one well, I don't think it's going to be a Super Bowl year. But if we can control each side of the line, at least improve, I think this team can do some damage.
Yeah. Here's the thing. And that's why I say I really can't put a gauge to it. I can look at packages and say, okay, I do like the TJ Bass package when he's in the jumbo look. I do. I absolutely love the fact that we had Hunter Luepke and Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield, and we scored 3 times in a row with those particular packages. I like that. You know what I mean? But it's going up against our D-line, right? And how do you gauge that on whether or not did our D-line improve or did our D-line didn't improve, because who are you rooting for? Are you rooting for our D-line to stop them or are you rooting for our offensive line to win on those particular moments? So that's why I said tomorrow when we scrimmage, I hope we can do some goal line stuff. I hope we can do some red zone stuff. I hope that when we get to preseason game 1, we know for sure majority of our starters like Dak Prescott won't play week 1. So that's why it's important to see him go up against these Rams guys tomorrow because they're going to get a bulk of that in that tomorrow, not in preseason 1. Yeah. So we get a chance to see our starters.
Yeah. One other quick question. What's the status on Deuce Vaughn? Is he hurt or what's going on with that?
Hamstrings can be lingering, and you got to stretch that leg. Now, he got tiny legs, so I don't know if it's going to be a reoccurring injury. Is this going to be something that's nagged him all year? And far as what he brings to the table, I do like his short area quickness. I do like he can catch out of the backfield. But at this point, give me Hunter Luepke those chances. Give me Fant those chances. Give me a Malik Davis in that spot. And then even for kickoff turns and punt returns, to me, Jalen Cropper can do that. Kavontae Turpin can do that. Wanye can do that. So at this point, he just and I hate to say this. I hate to say this. And I know Sadiq finna say something. I know Sadiq finna say something because she likes some Deuce Vaughn. But Sadiq, just close your ears. You know what I'm saying? But at this point, Deuce Vaughn is a feel-good story, you know.
You're right. You're right. But the sad part is, in college he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
College though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, it was great talking to you, buddy. Keep up the great work, man.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you, fam. That's Glenn. I mean, that's Jimmy. I meant to say Glenn just dropped in. But I would say this, ladies and gentlemen. I can't do my hamburgers medium, man. The way my stomach built, I better not see no pink stuff in my hamburger. You know, I can't do a medium hamburger, man. You know, I don't know. Can y'all do medium hamburgers over there? You know, make sure no pink inside. No. It was still moist. It wasn't like a dry burger. You know, I think Red Robin do a great job on their medium well. You know. I can't do look, hamburgers were one of the first things I learned how to cook, you know, and mama said you got to make sure there's no pink inside, you know, and then we used to chop up bell peppers and onions and all. You know what's the best hamburger ever is when you make it yourself. Technically, when you make your own hamburger, sure, you mix that burger up. You put a little egg in there, because you know the restaurants ain't going to do that. They trying to save out. You put a little egg in there, you put a little sauteed onions in there, bell peppers, and then you make your little meatball, paws if necessary, and you put that thing on a skillet. Shoo, boy. Yeah. But I get what he's saying, though.